What's happening, guys? Nick Sakha here, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you about 3 steps to closing an insurance sale. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to my channel. I drop a ton of content on insurance, entrepreneurship, and self-development. Over the last 5 years, I have learned so many different things and have implemented so many different things, and we have finally arrived to this system. This system of 3 pretty much steps to every single call that we do and how we succeed with closing insurance policies. We write about 200 insurance policies a month, about $130,000 worth of premium right now. But of course, when I get to my 3rd office, we're gonna be scaling that hopefully up to 250 policies a month, as well as right around 200,000 in premium. Again, this process has been shaped over the last 5 years, and it's still ever improving, and so hopefully it will help you close more insurance policies as well. If you get some value out of this video, just do me one quick, huge favor. All you gotta do is just tap that like button, smash it real quick, demolish it. It's gonna help me grow this channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and check out all my other videos. There's a ton of videos, again, on insurance, entrepreneurship, and self-development. And follow me on my social media platforms as well. All right, now let's get started. All right, guys, so as you guys can see here, I've got this laminated sheet. The 3 steps are laminated on this sheet. It has taken me and my team, over 1.5 years to perfect this sheet. 3 steps are connecting with your client. The 2nd step is coverage discovery, which is highly influenced by my mentor, Craig Wiggins Coaching. More on that later, as well as close. So connect, coverage discovery, and then close. Now, I'm gonna break down each and every step for you, so that way you have an idea of what all of that even means. All right, so now the first step to closing any sale, I don't even care if it's insurance or not, is to connect with your client. This is common sense. If you can't connect, if you can't find common ground with your client, then how are you going to be able to close that sale? But with insurance, you want to connect strategically with a handful of specific things that's going to make you successful in closing this deal. I want to talk to you guys about an acronym that I stole from my buddy Mark Mercer. I've also interviewed him on my channel as well. So think of the acronym FORD, F-O-R-D. F stands for family. You want to get to know your prospect's family. And you do this by just asking basic questions. Hey, do you have any family in town? And you'll want to do that anyways, because at the end of your call, you're gonna want to ask for referrals, right? So start with family. Oh, how many kids do you have? Oh my God, how old are they? I have kids too. Or if you hear a dog in the background, oh my God, what kind of dog is that? I love dogs. My dog is this. And you want to build common ground with that family, but you're going to want to ask about a customer's family, because you're going to want to circle back when we get into the coverage discovery part to be able to use that as leverage as, hey, don't you want to protect your family, right? Because we sell insurance, right? We sell protection, and you're going to want to leverage the family that you're going to be talking about as a way to protect them when you go into the coverages. Let's talk about occupation. What do you do for work? People love talking about what they do. If they own a business, they want to talk about that business. Their business is almost like their baby. Especially men. Men love talking about their occupation. I've been a carpenter for 30 years. I've been doing real estate for 40 years, right? People love talking about what it is they do, especially men. And women typically like talking about their family. And so, not all men and women, but more often than not, those are going to be the best ways to find common ground. And so, occupation. How long have you been doing that for? Oh my God, how did you get started in that, right? So, always talk about what they do for a living, right? Because you're going to want to use that as leverage, again, when you get to the coverage part of the conversation. R stands for recreation. Recreation, what do you do for fun? We're here in Las Vegas. Oh, are you a Raider fan? The Raiders just got here. What's your favorite sports team? What's your favorite music? Have you gone to any concerts lately? Right? What do you do for fun? Do you like hiking? There's so many different hikes out here. Do you like going out to the lake? Oh my goodness, me too. Find out what people like to do for fun. Recreation is a great way to build common ground. So R is for recreation. D is for dreams, okay? Find out what people's dreams are, their goals, their aspirations. That is the best way to connect with people, is to find out what are they working towards in life. maybe you could support that in one way or another. But D is for dreams. So that is the acronym for connecting with any client is Ford. And again, I took that from my buddy Mark Mercer. Shout out, Mark. So always use Ford as a guide to building rapport and connecting with your clients. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So again, it's very, very important that you connect with everybody you're on the phone with, right? It's easy to be transactional. It's easy to be just regular, boring, going through the motions. Let me see if I can save you money. And that's just not an effective strategy, just always trying to save people money. So you've got to connect, because people like doing business with people that they like. And you want to make sure that you're connecting so well with these people that they remember you as, if your name is Joseph, they remember you as Joseph that represents, State Farm. They want to remember you as Nick that represents farmers, or Jessica that represents State Farm, etc., etc. Not State Farm was $8.98 every 6 months, Farmers was $1,000, and Geico was $1,200. You don't want to be remembered for the price of your insurance company. You want to be remembered for you. Oh, Nick over at Allstate, right? Joseph over at State Farm, and et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully that makes sense to you. The very first step of closing any insurance sale is to connect with your prospect, and the best way to connect is to use the acronym Ford. All right, so when you get ready to get started with the coverage discovery, you're gonna change the tone. After you're building all this rapport and connecting with your clients, you need to switch gears here and get a little bit more serious. And this is by asking them, all right, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, let's get into the most important part of your insurance policy, and those are your liability limits. You're gonna ask the questions to the customer you're not gonna dive into each question. You're just generically asking them these questions to get them thinking. The first question is, do you know what your current liability limits are? And they're gonna either say yes or no. And you're gonna say, okay, do you understand what those liability limits mean? Do you understand what those limits mean? And they're either gonna say yes or no. How much do you carry on your current umbrella policy? Okay, you're gonna get them thinking about an umbrella policy. You might know that in your state, you need to carry a certain amount of certain auto liability limits to be able to even qualify for an umbrella policy. But you're gonna ask them this general question to get them thinking, like, umbrella policy, like, what's that? And if they say yes or no, you're gonna get them thinking, right? You're gonna get them thinking about umbrella policy. I don't have one of those. Okay. So after you ask them that question, this is where you're getting ready to bury their current insurance company. Get ready to bury them and why their current agent hasn't discussed this with them. So now you're gonna ask them the question, when was the last time your agent discussed this with you? Did your other agent go over this with you, your current coverages? And they're gonna say something along the lines of, yeah, when I first started the policy. And this is the part where you get to, like I said, bury their current agent and insurance company. And this is where you say, look, man, I'm concerned. I'm shocked that your current agent or your current company never went over this with you. And now this is the part of the conversation, the coverage discovery, where you're gonna tell a story. Now, the story, you don't want it to include any death or anything crazy, but you do want to provide a real life story of something that happened where somebody caused an accident and went on to get sued in excess of their current liability limits, and they were put in an uncomfortable financial situation because their current agent didn't properly protect them, okay? Our story usually involves something like this. We keep it simple. We even have it on our sheet here. And we're telling the truth. I mean, accidents like this happen every day, but they're not publicized. They're not put on the news. I mean, it's really what happens in an accident behind the scenes usually never gets publicized and promoted like that. So it's up to us to actually raise that awareness. That way people understand. Our story usually goes something like this. Look, this is the reason why I'm shocked and concerned why your current agent has done this, has set you up with these liability limits. We had a client that before signing up with us was driving on the freeway. They were looking at their phone, probably shouldn't have been, and by the time they looked up, they went on to rear end the car in front of them because traffic came to a complete stop. they went on to injure a family of 4 in that vehicle, and the accident ended up costing, upwards of $250,000, okay? $250,000, because that accident involved neck surgery, back surgery. Some of the kids were badly injured. And let me ask you, customer, had that been you with the state minimums that your current agent left you with or set you up with, how much would you be left on the hook for? And you've got to get your prospect to do the math. Now, here in Las Vegas, the state minimum limits are $25.50, okay? So if your current agent set you up with $50,000 worth of coverage and you caused a $250,000 accident, how much would your current agent leave you on the hook for? And a very important process or part of the coverage discovery is getting your prospect to do the math. You've got to get them to do the math, and you cannot answer the question for them. Get them to do the math. Now, that's why in the part of coverage discovery, there's story as well as math, because you've got to get them to figure out that math and do not do it for them. And ask them, how much would your current agent be leaving you on the hook for had that been you? Now, your current company is only going to write a check for $50,000. Guess where that other $200,000 is going to come out from? That's right, you, because your current agent left you underinsured, okay? Now, don't worry, Mr. or Mrs. Client, we're gonna fix this for you today. So you're gonna be so glad, your wife is gonna be so glad that we spoke today, and we're gonna get this corrected for you ASAP. Now, let's go into the coverages, and that's where you start going into the coverages, and you wanna set them up with an umbrella policy with $250,000, $500,000, at least that's what they need here in Las Vegas. And we're gonna get into the close next, but you need this to be your value proposition. Now, real quick, is everyone gonna be excited and gung-ho about increasing their liability limits? No, of course you're gonna get the people that are cheap, that don't care, and they're very price driven. And what we have found is that, about 40% of people are very, very price driven, maybe even 50% depending on where you're at. 40% actually care about having adequate coverage and being properly protected. And then you're gonna get 10% of people that usually have an independent agent and they can just shop them whenever they want, and so on and so forth. But you've got to find a compelling reason why your customer needs to have higher coverages, equaling that they know they're gonna have to pay more, because you will pay more when the value is there, and that's just what it comes down to. So that's the second part of closing any insurance policy, and arguably the most important is your value proposition. With us, it's coverage discovery. All right, we've arrived to the last step of closing any insurance policy. Now let's recap. We've connected with the client. We've built a crap ton of rapport. We know their family, their occupation, what they like to do for recreation, their dreams, and what they're working towards. We have built up enough value by giving them reasons for why we're going to be more expensive, right? Because saving somebody money, that should be a layup to close that deal. But it's really impressive when you can get someone to pay more because you've provided enough value and given the customer enough reasons for why you're going to be more expensive. And we do that by increasing their coverages, by doing what any insurance agent should actually be doing, right? We shouldn't just be comparing apples to apples and just trying to save people money. No, let's increase their coverages. Let's do what insurance agents were designed to do and give them adequate coverages. So we've connected, we've given them enough value. Now it's time to close the policy. Now, when you get to the very end of your close, when you get to the very end of everything, and a good phone call, mind you, should be anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, right? That's why I measure talk time. When I'm looking at employee stats, I look at how long they're on the phones for, because I could care less how many clients you call. How many clients are you able to keep on the phone? Now, when you get to the very end of the call, you've given them enough reasons. Now it's time to close the deal. So now you know in your mind you're going to be more expensive. And so when you're giving that price, you want to give them a round number and just give them the price as All right, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, so with everything we've gone over today, it's only gonna cost you $487 to get started, and it's gonna be about $500 every month after. And all I need to get this going for you today is your account number and routing number. Do you have that with you? What are those numbers? And you've got to become very assumptive, and you can also say, hey, so Mr. and Mrs. Customer, it's only going to be $1,000 to get started and every month after. And all I need to get this going for you is your account number and routing number. Or if you have a credit card, we can get that. We can use that as well if you like to get rewards. What are those numbers? And be very assumptive, okay? And of course, you need to be ready for the objection. The customer's gonna tell you, well, that's more than I pay right now. And you're gonna agree with them. I like to call it agree with them, keep it positive, and then keep it pushing. And so you're gonna say, I understand, but if you remember, we're giving you quadruple the coverage that you currently have with your current insurance company. So it makes sense why we're more. And in other cases, you can even break down how much more it's gonna be on a daily basis and then give them that daily number. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm actually shocked that it's not more expensive. If you break this down daily, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, it's only gonna be an extra $3 a day to make sure that you and your family are properly protected. Now, what's that number? Let's get this going for you. And there's a handful of objections that you're gonna get. And that's why I recommend you sign up for the Craig Wiggins coaching, because they have it broken down with literally every single objection that you can hear. And maybe I'll make another video with specifically going over objection handling. But ultimately, when you're closing a policy, you want to be confident, you want to be certain, and you want to have your ducks in a row for that way when the customer says, that's more than what I pay right now. That's going to be the number one excuse or the number one objection that you're going to hear from clients as to why they don't want to get started right then and there. And you need to reassure them why it's important, why the value that you created is worth paying that much more for. So be confident, be certain in your close. And that, my friends, are the 3 steps to closing any insurance policy. If you got some value out of that, I will hope that you will subscribe and destroy the like button and follow me on my social media platforms as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Peace. And lastly, if you and your team are looking to change the way you guys do business, if you're looking for additional coaching and training, I've been using Craig Wiggins coaching for the last 4 years, and it has changed the way we do business. A lot of my content on YouTube is what I've gotten from Craig Wiggins coaching. If you and your team, or maybe you work for an agency, get your agency owner on board, go to craigwigginscoaching.com. Sign up for the monthly training. You can have unlimited users, and it's only $177 a month. But if you use the discount code Sakha, my last name, SAKHA, you will get $100 off your very first month. Tell them I sent you. I promise you it'll help you and your agency. Thank you guys. Peace.